Hey there, first grade. How's everybody doing today? And welcome back to another remote learning math lesson with Mr. Enzi. Today, I'm going to show you my Lego Mickey. This Mickey Mouse is made out of more than 2,600 Lego dots. I wonder if there's more white dots or more black dots. Well, today, we are going to learn how to figure out, using math number models, which is more and which is less. Today, you are going to need your whiteboard and your marker, and you are also going to need a brand new math mat. This math mat is called the quantity difference. So you're going to want to find the quantity difference math mat. Get that ready, put it inside your sheet protector, get your whiteboard nearby, because I am about to shrink myself into the corner. Today, we are going to be doing grade 1, lesson 5.10, comparison number stories. Who has more and who has less? You will need your whiteboard and your marker. You will need your quantity difference math mat inside your sheet protector. Now, if you don't have all of those materials, your best bet is to hit that pause button and go and gather everything up, because we are going to get started with a little warm-up here. So you know our warm-ups are called a math message, and here is our math message today. I want you to solve this on your whiteboard. Here's what it says. Lou saved 5 cents. Mary saved 8 cents. Who, that's a person, who saved more money? How much more money? Draw a picture to show how you know. Now, remember, we're looking for a math picture here. So we don't want a picture of a swing set with a little dog on it, because that would have nothing to do with this story. All right, go ahead and hit that pause button. See if you can tell who saved more money and how much more money they saved. When you're done, press play. We'll see how you did. Let's see how you did. Lou saved 5 cents. Well, one of the strategies that I like to use is called modeling and comparing. I can actually draw the pennies. So I'm going to have Lou. Lou saved 5 pennies. And I'm going to draw those 5 pennies in a nice straight line. Look how pretty that looks. You might want to do this on your whiteboard if you didn't draw any pennies. Now, that was Lou. Lou saved 5 pennies. Mary saved 8 pennies. So I'm going to draw Mary's pennies right underneath Lou's pennies. Now, notice that I put a letter L for Lou and an M for Mary. That's because this is a math picture. And a math picture is something that's not too detailed. So I'm drawing Mary's 8 pennies. There they are. Now, if I want to find out who has more pennies, well, I'm going to match up my pennies. I'm going to make some dance partners, as I like to say. Well, this penny from Mary goes with that penny from Lou. These pennies match up, one from Mary, one from Lou. Those pennies, and those pennies. Who has more? Well, look at this. Mary has more pennies. How many more does Mary have? Mary has 1, 2, 3 more pennies. Did you get that also? Now, Mary has 3 more pennies. That also means that Lou has 3 less pennies. Notice the answers are the same. Mary has 3 more. Lou has 3 less. Now there's another way to solve this problem too. It's called the counting up strategy. Now with the counting up strategy, Lou has 5, so I put a dot on my number line. Mary has 8, I put another dot on my number line. And then I can count up or back to find what's called the difference. How different are they? How far apart are they? 1, 2, 3. Notice we got the same answer, 3 pennies. I can also use my rock, 5 in the rock, and I want to count until I get to the number 8. 6, 7, 8, 3. Awesome job. You can go ahead and clear off your whiteboard because today we are going to be taking a look at something called comparison number story. And a comparison number story is a number story that compares how much we have of certain objects. Just like my Lego Mickey Mouse. There were some whites, there were some black Lego dots. We can compare them. Here's how we do it. Let's take a look at this comparison number story. This story is about Declan. Declan has 12 cents. Kieran has 7 cents. Who has more money? Now, who is a name? It's a person. So we're not going to put a number here because the number isn't the name of the person. But who has more? Declan has 12 and Kieran has 7. Did you say that Declan had more? Well, you are correct. So I'm going to go ahead and write Declan's name because he has more. Now, we have to figure out how much more money does Declan have. And we're going to use what's called a comparison unit box and diagram. I like to call it big Q, little q difference. Here's my big Q. Right at the top. That's where my big number goes. My greatest number. This is the word quantity. Say that word, quantity. Now, quantity means the number, the amount, or the number of objects. Well, in this case, we're talking about pennies. Declan has some pennies and Kieran has some pennies. The bigger number goes in the big Q box. You see this other little box here? This is also a quantity box. I call this little q. That's where the lesser number goes. So let's take our sheet protector that has our quantity difference diagram and let's fill it out. Declan has 12 pennies. So we're going to write the number 12 in the big Q box. That's our bigger number. Kieran has 7 cents or 7 pennies. So I'm going to write in the little q box, I'm going to write a 7 because that's the lesser number. So they're the quantities. That's how many Declan has. That's how many Kieran has. Now we see another little line, and under that line is the difference. The difference is the answer to a subtraction problem. We want to find how different the numbers are. So since I want to find my difference, I'm going to put a question mark there. The difference is also going to help me find how much more and how much less. So whenever I'm asked how much more or how much less, we can use a big Q, little q box. How much more or how much less. So keep that in mind whenever you see a comparison number story. Now we need to write a number model for this problem. And I want to show you that because it is a subtraction problem, I start at the top, and that's my first number. 12 minus 7 equals, I don't know. So I'm going to write that for my number model. 12 minus 7 equals, and I'm going to put my little question mark. Now, we know how to find something like that on a number line. There's a couple ways we can do it. we can put down Kieran's number, which is the number 7, and I can put a dot on it. And then I can put Declan's number, which is the number 12, and I can put a dot on that one. And then I can see how far apart are the two numbers. What's the difference? And I can make hops to figure that out. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I ended up with 5 for the answer. How many more does Declan have? Declan has 5 more pennies. Now, there's another way that I can also solve this problem. Start at 12, count back 7. Let's see what we get. Start at 12, count back 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Where did I land? I landed on the same number 5. So both ways that I did it, I ended up getting 5. I think our question is about cents, which means a penny. So 5 cents is our answer. Now some students can take this problem and use an addition problem to solve it. They'll do 7 plus missing number equals 12. Start at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And 5 more will give you 12. No matter how you do it, you still get the answer 5. Awesome job. Let's go ahead and clear off our sheet protector and try another comparison number story. Let's see if you can fill out your quantity difference diagram. This is about Addie and Skylar, two of my friends. Addie has 10 stuffed animals. Where do you think the 10 is going to go on our big Q, little q? Well, let's keep reading before we write it. Skylar has 6 stuffed animals. Addie has 10. Skylar has 6. Remember, one of the boxes gets the bigger number, and the other quantity box gets the smaller number. Did you put your 10 in the big Q and the 6 in the little q? If you did, you're on the right track. Now we have some questions that we have to answer. Who has fewer stuffed animals? Now, fewer is a fancy word, but it means less. If you have a few stuffed animals, you don't have a lot. So who has fewer means who has less, Addie or Skylar? So which number is less, 10 or 6? Well, you're all saying the number 6 is less. But remember, who means a name. So I have to answer that question by putting in a name. Skylar has less stuffed animals. How much fewer stuffed animals? That's like saying how much less. Remember, we want to find the difference. So I'm going to put a question mark on my diagram. And now I have to go and try and solve this problem. So my number model, there's a couple that I can write. I like to write subtraction. I start with my big number, 10 minus 6 equals missing number. Now some students will like to write an addition number model, and that's okay. They will start with the little q, 6, and then they'll count up, plus a missing number, equals, and the n number is your big Q, 10. 6 plus missing number equals 10. Either number model is going to get us the same answer. Let's see. On my number line, we can solve it. I can start at 10, and I can count back 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I landed on the number 4. That's one way I can solve it. Another way I can solve it is by putting a dot at the number 6, which is the smaller q, putting a dot on the 10, which is the bigger q, and then I can count up. 6 plus the missing number equals 10. 6 plus 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 plus 4 equals 10. So no matter how we do it, we got the same answer. 4 stuffed animals. Awesome job. And we might recognize that this is a friend of 10. Awesome job. Let's try one more problem together. Go ahead and clear off your sheet protector, your diagram. Here is our last comparison number story. We're going to see who has more or who has less. This story happens to be about me and Mrs. Attardi. Mr. Renzi has 16 Lego minifigures. Now that's not true. I have a lot more. Mrs. Attardi has 8 Lego minifigures. That's probably not true either. She probably doesn't have any. Who has more Lego minifigures? And who is a name? Is it Mr. Renzi or is it Mrs. Attardi? Well, the number 16 is greater than the number 8. So Mr. Renzi has more Lego minifigures. How much more Lego minifigures? Well, we have to fill out our diagram. Where will the number 16 go? Since 16 is the bigger number, we're going to put that in our big Q. Mrs. Attardi has 8 Lego minifigures, so we're going to put the number 8 in our little q. How much more? That means the difference. We want to find the difference. Now remember, there's a couple different ways that we can solve this problem. We can have the number model for subtraction. We could start at the top, start with our biggest number, 16. We could count back 8, and we will get the difference. How much more? So that's one way we can do it. The other way is we can create an addition problem by starting with our smaller number. We can count up until we get to the bigger quantity. So either number model will get us the same answer. Let's try it on our number line. I could start at 16 and I can count back 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Where do you land? I landed on the number 8. Now, I can also solve this problem by starting at the number 8, stopping at the number 16. So my little q is 8, my big Q is 16, and I have to just count up to connect them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Either way. So how much more Lego minifigures? 8 more Lego minifigures. Mrs. Attardi would have 8 less Lego minifigures. Whew! Awesome job, first grade. Today, we learned about the quantity difference diagram, and we learned how to solve comparison number stories. Whew, and I'm glad I learned that, because now I'm going to go figure out which one is more, the white Lego dots or the black ones. Go ahead and start your activities, because I can't wait to see how smart you are.